This is your astrological forecast for Taurus in 2022. January through March. This astrology forecast is for those who have their sun in Taurus or a Taurus Ascendant, also known as the rising sign. In January, depending on what degree your sun or rising sign is in, it's a very good year for you. Venus, Pluto, and Mercury all form conjunctions or a stellium in Capricorn, forming a trine or harmonious aspect to your sun or ascendant. Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign, and so it has patience or perseverance to slowly traverse life's obstacles, ups and downs, in order to succeed or get to the top of whatever mountain you have decided to climb. Taurus is a fixed earth sign ruled by Venus, and so we find people who have their sun or rising sign in Taurus to love beauty. If you're a Taurus, you most likely love clothing, have an expensive taste, love some form of art such as music or painting. You may even love spending money on nice things such as a nice house and furnishings. You want to enjoy the material pleasures that the earth plane offers. Taurus being fixed earth, you most likely have a fixed position in life. You're hard to budge from your beliefs and how you do things. Taurus is the sign of the bull. The symbolism shows you aren't a person who can be pushed around, and sometimes you can be a little stubborn or stuck in your ways that is hard for people of other signs to understand. However, many people are attracted to those who don't change. They love your stability, your practicality, and determination to make something of yourself and enjoy all the good things of life. As a Taurus, you may have a tendency to get stuck in a rut or depend on someone else, and so you have to watch for becoming lazy or uninspired. The last couple of years have been good to earth signs. Is this true for you? Your individual chart will give you a lot more information as to your life path because it is specific to you. January 1st, 2022, the sun in 11 degrees Capricorn in your 9th house of philosophy, religion, higher education, and long trips forms a harmonious aspect or trine to your sun, ascendant, and Uranus in your 1st house of self. The sun moves 1 degree per day, so this aspect only lasts a couple of weeks and depends on the degree of your sun and rising sign. Uranus is retrograde at 10 degrees in the keyword struggle. Struggle referred to here is a conflict between two forces, the physical and mental. Uranus is the enlightened mind, the awakener, and is not super comfortable being in an earth sign. Uranus rules Aquarius, which is a cardinal air sign. He's not used to fixed ideas, fixed beliefs, or anything fixed to this earth plane. Uranus is about higher ideas, communication, technology, and using his enlightened way of thinking to make things easier on us with inventions. Now he's in Taurus's earth sign, struggling to break free. Uranus represents freedom, liberation, and independence. At this time, especially now that Uranus is conjunct the Sun and Ascendant, as well as over the next several years, you may find yourself more radical in your thinking, more inspired to rebel against restrictions, rebel against your own beliefs, rebel against the beliefs of others, and become enlightened to situations that affect your personal self. As far as your personality goes, people may not even recognize the person you once were, because you are waking up to realities and taking interest in things you had never perceived before. Your rising sign is often regarded as your personality, or how people see you, but is also your life mission. Uranus conjunct your life mission is waking you up from a slumber. You may find you had no idea the reality you've been living in until this transit, which started in 2018. Saturn has been squaring Uranus for 1 year, blocking or restricting your freedom. Saturn represents boundaries, limitations, fear, anxiety, depression, and the government. Saturn is the lowest vibrational frequency, and Uranus is a very high vibrational frequency. Saturn is in fixed air Aquarius, Uranus's home sign, and has been repressing us through suppression of thought and communication. This has been done through lockdowns, social distancing, mouth rags, rules and regulations that take away the freedoms that Uranus represents. You may often find yourself trying to better yourself and enjoy life, but find you need to get creative, maybe even rebel against the rules imposed upon you. Saturn is in your 10th house of career and status in life, so you may find you either obey your employer's rules or you lose your job. On the flip side, you may be the boss and following the political class's rules and imposing them on your employees because of your beliefs about the world. Whichever side of the spectrum you are on, by the end of this transit you may be awakened and even shocked by what the leaders of this world really represent. However, with Uranus in your first house and your ascendant, once you know the truth, you'll want to rebel. You'll want to combat and mentally attack the world with great force and help walls that were once programmed in people's minds to break free, offer them the truth, and help bring solutions and innovative ideas to the masses in order to bring positive change to the world. This is not all. You also have Venus, Pluto, and Mercury forming a stellium in Capricorn in the keyword idealism, forming a trine to the North Node, which is where you want to be headed, and forming a sextile to the South Node, which is where you don't want to be headed. Through life, we move back and forth between the nodes based on our learning curve of how we deal with certain situations and our responses to those situations. The North Node is in the Wisdom Decanate of Taurus in the keyword mastership, and the South Node is also in the Wisdom Decanate of Scorpio in the keyword attainment. These are good aspects. Pluto represents quantum change, evolution, transformation, and what lurks beneath the surface. Venus represents desire, love, pleasure, attraction, and repulsion. Mercury represents your concrete, practical mind, or how you think, speak, communicate, and gather and assimilate knowledge. Now, these three planets, Venus, Pluto, and Mercury, are all together in your 9th house of higher knowledge and forming harmonious aspects to your past and present. You may find yourself attracted to learning and understanding the esoteric and unraveling deeper aspects of your knowledge and understanding of subjects, such as religion and philosophy that few understand. Learning this knowledge is preparing you in terms of understanding the deeper mysteries tied to these subjects in relation to whatever your life mission and purpose may be. The South Node in attainment is about looking back to your past, specifically your past beliefs about yourself, your marriage or partnerships, your home, your country, religion, and philosophy, and uncover the truth behind the foundation of these things. The North Node is about looking forward towards a brighter future. You can't look forward until you understand the past, whether that be about yourself, relationships, your family, country, religion, or philosophy you believe in. Mastership, the North Node's expression, is about the slow and steady climb, mastering this physical world. To master the physical world, you must use every physical means you have in order to attain spiritual heights. A master is one who the universe can throw anything at, and yet they can handle the situation with ease. Take what you learn, what you unravel, and learn from it, and share your knowledge with others. This is what this time of your life is about. It's about administering to the ills and pains of others that don't know and understand what you know and are continually learning. April through June. Through March, April, and May, Jupiter will be conjunct Neptune in mutable water Pisces, forming harmonious aspects to the nodes. Neptune, Jupiter are in your 11th house of friendships, social groups, and clubs. Pisces is an emotional sign and connected to feelings that are often misunderstood by many. With Neptune in its home sign, it is in its greatest strength. Neptune represents spirituality, imagination, illusion, delusion, and dissolving boundaries. With this powerful conjunction in your 11th house, you may find deep emotional, even spiritual connections with social groups you belong to. At times, you may find yourself very confused by their beliefs, and at other times feel very strongly about them. This aspect, harmoniously aspecting your nodes, shows group support within the social circles you belong. Neptune, Jupiter, and Pisces are in the third or spiritual decanate with the keyword vicissitudes, which has to do with being very adaptable and likable. This should be helpful to you in social settings with your peers in that you will be respected for your beliefs. Vicissitudes also has to do with excitement for change. Neptune is in the last 10 degrees of its home sign Pisces, which is a big deal because it is completing its 165-year cycle around the zodiac. What does this mean for your life? It can mean many different things depending on many factors. For many people, this will be a very emotional time. For a Taurus, this could be a time for you to use your down-to-earth practical skills in helping your friends and social groups with a cause. You may be someone who is a support mechanism for many dealing with hard times, especially those losing their loved ones during this transit. The last area of Pisces is primarily about recapitulating our lives in many ways. For a Taurus, it is recapitulating your life in ways you communicate with groups of people and how you help and support them. Also, how they help and support you. It can mean having deep spiritual experiences with groups of people. Examples would be visiting a spiritual retreat center or taking plant medicines that transcend you into the spiritual world. Neptune, Jupiter, and Pisces can mean so many things. Neptune represents unity consciousness, and Jupiter represents expansion, abundance, optimism, and growth. You may be part of a great spiritual awakening that extends beyond that which you could have ever dreamed, an awakening that extends over the entire planet. The awakening may be sparked by an enlightening truth, a truth that may be understood by some and leave others very confused and disoriented. Neptune, Jupiter in a water sign mixes well with Taurus in an earth sign, so you should be able to handle any situation that arises well. This truth that may arise in your life may have to do with helping others understand and accept the loss of friends, coworkers, and family members. Remember, the keyword vicissitudes is recapitulating our lives. Neptune, Jupiter, and watery Pisces represents not only emotions, but the spirit world. With Jupiter's ability to expand and magnify situations, you may find many people deciding to cross over into the spirit realm during these 3 months. Attainment is the key word for the south node of your past, or where you don't want to be headed, in your 7th house of marriage and partnerships. Mastership is the keyword for your north node, your future, or where you want to be going in your 1st house of self. Neptune, Jupiter are in harmony with both nodes. This is an interesting nodal position where your self is where you want to be headed, and your marriage and partnership and past thoughts and behaviors about relationships and partnerships is where you do not want to be headed. Mastership, in your case, is about mastering yourself, meaning anything the world or universe throws at you, you manage to master it through your spiritual progress, dealing with life with few setbacks and meeting challenges with ease and grace. Now you are to be looking towards the future, toward mastership, by meeting life challenges as it pertains to yourself, your ego, and your life mission. With this placement, you should move through life focused on yourself, what you want to do, and what makes you happy. Looking to the past, attainment, referred to here, represents your ambitions, ideals, and values toward your home, country, marriage, and partnerships. During this time, you may have vivid or intense emotional feelings and ideas about the past. These vivid emotions will most likely be about your past relationships and how you acted and reacted to situations. This is a reminder not to fall back on past behaviors. You may also have deep feelings about how life was before the world turned upside down in 2020. Saturn is in your 10th house of career and social status, squaring or forming disharmonious aspects to both nodes. Saturn is in fixed air Aquarius in the keyword repression. Saturn represents fear, anxiety, depression, and the government. He also represents maturity, limitations, boundaries, and restrictions. You may find you're overworking or working to achieve something great in your business or career. This may take time away from you focusing on yourself, let alone someone else. This could also be the government restricting your efforts on all fronts with rules, laws, and mandates. The key to your success in this instance is through your social networking groups. These groups and friendships will lead you to the future you are seeking. So take the time to mingle and circulate amongst social circles to really fulfill your spiritual yearning at this time. Mars also crosses your ascendant and sun starting on May 25th. This will spark action and actionability on your part in relationship to your life mission. Your personality may spark attention from others in that you become more ambitious or angry or both. July through September. Mid-July, the Sun and Mercury form inconjunctions in cardinal water Cancer, forming a trine to Neptune in mutable water Pisces, the south node in fixed water Scorpio, and a sextile to the north node conjunct Uranus in fixed earth Taurus. Mercury, Sun are in the keyword research in your third house of communication, writing, teaching, and speaking. So you may find your curious self sharing with others what you've learned. Mercury, your mind, and the Sun, where your attention is shining, illuminating, and purifying, is focused on communication in some form. Now the Sun, Mercury are in harmony with Neptune in your 11th house of social groups. So you will be having a wonderful time talking or speaking with groups about bringing people together, about spirituality, helping people with their issues, or just communicating your experiences and what you've learned with others. The trines of Neptune, Mercury, and the Sun to the South Node are in your 7th house of partnerships in the keyword responsibility. The responsibility referred to here has to do with your sense of duty. Duty has to do with some form of sacrifice or giving up something, whether it be time with someone or giving up pleasures. Since we are talking about your 7th house, the responsibility may be about a past marriage, partnership, or business partnership. Did you sacrifice or give up on a marriage or partnership? Are you working to heal that part of your past that is wounded? Pluto in cardinal earth Capricorn in idealism in your 9th house of higher learning, religion, and philosophy opposes your Sun Mercury during this time. The research you are communicating seems to be going against Pluto's knowing of the underworld, or that which lies below the surface. Pluto may want you to be researching, understanding, or delving into not only the hidden things of this world, but also of death. You may find during this time you don't want to express all you know of the occult or of dying and death. I see foreign travel in the cards this year for Taurus people. Much could be exposed about secret truths this year, and in April you may be focused on making a difference by your knowledge. The conjunction of Uranus to the North Node in your sign of Taurus in the keyword struggle shows wonderful news. Saturn is moving away from Uranus, so I expect more freedom and self-independence really starting to take hold for you towards the end of summer. Uranus in struggle wants to wake you up to what the future holds for you personally. He will go to great and shocking lengths, often in the form of rebellion, to enlighten us to the truth. Uranus being in fixed earth Taurus, he's focused on things of this planet such as mineral, mining, farming, oil, gas, coal, money, and the financial system, and how all of this correlates to inflation of prices. Saturn, the government, has been in a disharmonious aspect to Uranus for roughly 2 years. If you haven't figured it out yet, Uranus has been showing us how the governments around the world control, restrict, and manipulate the foundational structure of earthly things that we need to live and survive. For you personally, Uranus may be enlightening you to truths about yourself that you never knew. October through December. The best aspect possible, an air grand trine, forms in your 2nd house of money and things you want, to your 6th house of work and service and health, and to your 10th house of career and status. Venus Moon in your 2nd house trines the Sun Venus in your 6th house, both forming trines to Saturn in your 10th house. This aspect will hold roughly 2 weeks, so you'll want to make good use of your communication skills during this time. Venus moon are in expiation, Saturn is in inspiration, and Mars moon in reason. Expiation may refer to your attraction to literature or art at this time, but more than that, expiation represents following the laws of man or of God or a higher power. The trine to Saturn in inspiration is expressing your desire and attraction to communicate outwardly. Mars moon in reason, which is enlightened thinking, uses the brilliancy of your mind to work diligently and passionately through your career, status in life, or both, to help humanity or suppress them with your knowledge. Will you use the information and knowledge you've obtained to benefit society, or use your power to keep them in ignorance and poverty? This is where your belief in the laws of man or God come into play, because you will temporarily have a wonderful aspect to either help people or not. Your choices to this go even deeper. Sun-Venus form an inconjunction or crisis situation to Uranus in your first house of self in Taurus. The Sun is always positive, and Uranus is always enlightening. So what is the crisis? The crisis is who you are serving. You may not even know. Enlightenment comes to you when you have an epiphany. You realize what you've been doing and saying is not based in truth. It's not best for you or society. To further deepen this, Mars moon in your third house of communication is in a square, which is a disharmonious aspect to Neptune in your 11th house. You may find yourself emotionally charged, fired up, ambitious, and or angry. Whatever your profession, you may be sending out confusing messages to people. People may not really know who you are and what you're about. Maybe you've kept your thoughts and beliefs a secret from others. Pluto in Capricorn in your 9th house forms a crisis situation to your Mars moon. This may show your anger from withholding secrets you know. On the flip side, you may come out with secret information you've been holding back in order to expose the truth. Every person is different, as is every situation. You may find yourself caught deep in a web, or something as minor as being upset with a college professor or anyone challenging your beliefs. You may come to terms with teachers or those you have admired as not being as trustworthy as you believe them to be. In any case, your voice will be supported regardless of the message you are delivering. Your emotions, however, may be anger out of confusion and disillusionment. Things you thought you understood may prove to be wrong. For Mercury, your mind opposes Neptune, so you may not be thinking as clearly as usual. This can be a deceptive or confusing time, but eventually you'll sort it all out. The end of the year will more or less start out like the year began. On December 22nd, the Sun moves into Capricorn. Also in Capricorn are Venus, Mercury, and Pluto. Capricorn is an earth sign and Taurus is an earth sign. So all these planets form a trine to your natal Sun and Ascendant in your first house of self. Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto are in your 9th house of philosophy, religion, higher education, and long journeys. This may be a wonderful time to learn the deeper aspects of philosophy or religion, or take a trip somewhere in the world where you learn about a new culture. When Mercury, Venus trine Uranus in your first house of self, you may be learning a lot about the world. You'll be attracted to taking an adventure to a place that stimulates your mind. The place may be a physical location. However, your adventure may be in a philosophical or religious book. Whatever you end up deciding as your adventure, it will enlighten you in some way. A book may enlighten you to the world, just as a trip across the world to a foreign country. Enjoy your travels or adventure in whichever avenue you choose. I have a feeling your adventure may change how you view the world and may even energize you to get active in a cause. Please subscribe to my channel and give a thumbs up if you like this video. To have a personal astrology reading with me, visit astrologywithjeffreybryan.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at astrologywithjeffreybryan or on Getter at Jeffrey Bryan. You can also subscribe to my blog at my website, astrologywithjeffreybryan.com, and also various types of meditations can also be found on my website. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.